Fact. It is possible for a girl like Lloyd Christmas and a guy like Mary Swanson to end up together. Welcome to the channel. Glad you found your way here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and comment if you got something to add to the conversation. Alright, so the word possible is one of those fuzzy math words that should never be used in public policy. It's one of those things that you could always come up with an equal and opposite possibility. Again, possibility, that's between a 0 and 100% probability something's going to happen. So it is possible that aliens could come here and give us a cure to some mysterious disease, or doctors could come up with a new and an effective treatment that cures said disease. Public policy should be made on probability, how likely or unlikely something was going to happen. Remember the 2-week lockdown? I was so excited. We were going to come up with all this information about how likely it is that something's going to happen or something won't happen, and then we'll be able to make educated decisions based off of that. What'd we get? Nothing. Why not? What? Did they not do any studies? Well, why wouldn't they have done studies? Or is it likely that they didn't like the results? Either way, why don't we have all this information to help us make better policy decisions? When it comes to people making statements, it's good to trust them, but we also need to confirm what they say. So, trust, government officials, scientists, doctors, parents, teachers, Facebook friends, whatever it might be, but also confirm what they're saying based on evidence, study surveys, data, stats, whatever it might be. Remember, with all this stuff, stats don't lie, but liars do use stats. We want to make sure we're using critical thinking when we're talking about this stuff. Like, one correlation that we know is a fact is that as mask usage has increased, so has the infection rate. This correlation doesn't mean causation. I'm not trying to say that. But we do want to use critical thinking when we look at this evidence. And make sure we're looking at the whole story. There's some churches that they shut down. I got some pastor friends, they shut down churches based off one church. Out of thousands, you're going to make a decision based off of what could be the exception to the rule. And how do you know it's not the exception unless you look at the entirety of information that you have? It happens on Facebook all the time. See people, hey, look, here's an example of, or here's 2 examples of. But again, are you showing the whole story, or are you just picking and choosing little pieces of information to prove your point, even though the rest of the information, if you look at the whole story, it might actually show something else in what you're trying to illustrate or prove? Now, I'm not saying you're wrong with your conclusion, but how do you know that's the norm? That's what regularly happens. Is that the whole story, or are we missing a bunch because you only picked 1 or 2 examples? Another fuzzy math word that's been used in 2020, of course, is, well, as we get more infections and people are hospitalized, there's less beds available. Well, duh. That's 2nd grade math. Are you kidding me? Are you college educated to come up with that conclusion? Out of how many beds? Again, tell us the whole story, not just one little piece there. Are we talking out of 1,000 beds? Well, that's really not that big of a deal. Are we talking about out of 2 beds or even out of 1 bed? Sure. Now we have something to talk about because we're bringing in the whole story. We're not only listening, but we're confirming. Are you telling us the whole story or just picking and choosing pieces? Another one that drives me bonkers. The definition for epidemic. More than expected. Well, how much more? 5, 6, 12, 100? Are we going to go with percents on this? What are you talking? And as you notice, they've gone away from percents because it doesn't show as big in numbers. They're now doing per 100,000. So that way the numbers look even bigger and more scary. Again, just twisting up what it is they're feeding us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is stop using possible, more, less, fuzzy math words for making public policy. All right, so if you like what's said here, feel free to comment, enjoy the conversation, like, subscribe, share this video on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you share on. I say this that no one will delude you with persuasive argument. Thanks for watching.